What's up? Welcome inching our way to training camp. Just days away now. Hoge and Jahns with you in just a few days from a live show as well. What's going on, Jahns?
I was going to say the unofficial real opening of Bears training camp is 6 p.m. in the city of Chicago at the Obvious Shirt store in Wrigleyville.
Yes, Monday night. I don't know if it's going to help traffic concerns, but there is no Cubs game Monday. We have Wrigleyville to ourselves. We actually blocked out all of Wrigleyville.
That's
for Hoge
quite
Jahns.
dangerous.
Yes. But 6 o'clock, we're just a few days away. I have already been texting back and forth with Joe and Devin, the guys at Obvious Shirts, about some new shirt designs. We have some surprises. Everything's hopefully going to be available Monday, and really excited about it. So come out Monday night, the Obvious Shirt store in Wrigleyville. Come pick up some merch. Come hang out with us. I think we'll have some giveaways too. Some, I'm guessing there'll be merch.
Some shirts.
Yeah.
But, obviously, some shirts.
Obviously, it's obvious. So we're really excited about it. And of course, I know we have so many listeners that don't live in Chicago. So everything that we debut and put out there will also be available online at obviousshirts.com. So you'll be able to get all that new merch. And I know people have been asking this. Yes, the show will be available to obviously as a podcast and also on YouTube. We will not be doing it live though. On YouTube, because we also want people to come out. But if you're unable to make it, you will be able to watch later on YouTube or consume it as a podcast as always. So really excited about that. That's Monday night, 6 o'clock in Wrigleyville. And then we go to bed, we wake up and report to training camp on Tuesday.
Report day. It doesn't have the same feeling as like driving down to Bourbonnais and packing the car.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. Like I get nostalgic about that every single year for the first few days of camp because I miss that. I miss hanging with the guys, going to the dinner, then the bar afterwards. And, I get nostalgic about that. Packing the car. I miss the dorm rooms for like a day.
Yeah.
Just a day, maybe a night.
I think the last time we stayed in the dorms was 2014.
We had fun, man.
Or was it 2015? We had 1 year with Pace in the dorms. And then they kicked us out?
Yeah,
Fox
had enough.
Yeah, after 1 year. So maybe it was...
Wait, these guys could stop me to and from lunch? No.
No.
Not happening.
No, kick them off campus. Please. Get out of here.
Get out of here. Wait, they stay on campus? Even worse. Get out of here.
Sexy.
Thank you for everyone, by the way, who listened to our Origin episode last week with all the sound bites. Got some good feedback, and I hope people enjoyed it. But we are back today to actually talk about some football. Preview things for training camp. We are debuting something new. I don't know why we haven't done this in the past. We've obviously had the voicemail line for years and years and years, pretty much since the beginning of the show. But we've never really used it. Just maybe once or twice we've done it, but we've never really used it as a voicemail line and just leave questions and answer them. So we're going to do that today. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at Adam Hoge, at Adam Jahns. Of course, that's where you're going to want to be for all the training camp updates that come out starting next week. Of course, you can read Johnsy on The Athletic, theathletic.com/HoganJahns. You can read me at allchgo.com. And as always, the merch restocking right now on obviousshirts.com as well. So we have a few voicemails and then a couple other topics we'll hit in this somewhat condensed episode. But we are back full go, kicking everything off Monday night. And then, we'll have all the coverage next week as training camp starts. Yeah, quickly on training camp, though, I've come to that same conclusion as you. I miss the first 5 days in Bourbonnais. I miss that first chunk, that first week. The rest of it, I think I'm over and I'm good. I think the perks of being closer to home and especially having a family and all that, like it's
responsibilities beyond ourselves and work.
But I will say, and I know, Johns, you will agree with this, as much as we missed our families when we were, especially once you get into week 2, week 3, when training camp starts to wear on a little bit, there was something to be said about being away from the house to get more work done.
Yes, you're more productive.
Yeah, productivity way up. Despite all the beverages usually consumed in Bourbonnais as well, there was somehow you're still more productive.
I don't know how I forgot the name of TJ Dollins off the top of the podcast, but I do miss having a few beers on the patio at TJ Dollins, and watching the guys, playing bags myself. You and I were good partners there.
Yeah, we were. I would, not to toot our own horn, but I think we were the most formidable opponent against Bob Laguerre and Larry Mayer, also known as Bob Laguerre.
Bob Laguerre, former Daily Herald beat writer, long time. I covered this team for 20 years. He goes all the way back to Platteville, even before Platteville, I think. He was an amazing bags player. Amazing bags player. Cornhole, you want to call it that. We call it bags here in Chicago. He was out.
No.
Outstanding.
Yeah, we don't call it cornhole here. Get that shit out of here.
Yeah.
Cornhole. Yeah, but people don't know this. Bob had to retire from the beat because he was too tired from carrying Larry in those bag games for all those years.
That's good.
So, yeah, it was unfortunate. Larry will actually agree with that. He would just talk shit about himself, like while we were playing the game.
I could hear him getting a little bit annoyed once he hears this a bit.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, anyway, we'll have to recreate some of the old Bourbonnais magic. There are definitely parts we miss, but yeah, I think the Bears have done a pretty good job with training camp. When we kind of saw that coming for a few years, right? We kind of knew it was coming eventually, especially once they doubled the size of Hallis Hall. Like as soon as they announced that renovation of Hallis Hall and the expansion of Hallis Hall, it's like training camp's coming to Lake Forest. It's only a matter of time. It actually kind of happened a little bit quicker than I thought. And then obviously with COVID and everything sort of got accelerated.
What was Ryan Pace? Ryan Pace did not want to be in Bourbonnais.
Yeah.
They invested millions upon millions of dollars into Hallis Hall to expand it, to add more fields, with one of the purposes of it, at least behind the scenes, was to host training camp up in Lake Forest.
Yeah, and I think when you have those facilities that they do, you gotta have it here. And they've done a good job. It's not as big. It definitely doesn't have quite the same atmosphere, especially on the weekends. There was a certain rowdiness at some of those weekend practices in Bourbonnais. Because the capacity, quite frankly, was bigger.
They sell beer up at Hallis Hall.
They do.
They do.
I keep forgetting that.
Yeah. But what I liked about Bourbonnais is that the times would be different. You'd have night practices some days. You have that late afternoon practice sometimes. Now, I think Mark Tressman got a little bit more consistent with his times. He was a
Mark
morning
moved
guy.
the practices up. They were like practicing at like 8 a.m. I think
9 in the morning.
Tressman.
Oh, that changed a lot of things we did.
Yeah, because Lovey would practice late afternoon.
Yes,
and there was definitely they would do a couple practices in the actual stadium there at ONU. But yeah, I still think. But because I get people that text me about this, I'm sure you do too, John. It's like, is this worth going to with my kids? What is there to do? Are they just gonna be bored watching the practices? The Bears do a good job. There's other things to do. There's usually like a food truck or two there. They have activities for the kids. Staley's usually walking around, and so you can kind of split your time between some of the activities and then practice as well.
Well, I think the Walter Payton Center, just from talking to fans who've been there,
that's right.
It's a main attraction there.
Yeah, and we don't even really get to see that. But yeah, they set up the Walter Payton Center with autographs and all kinds of stuff in there.
Well, there's activities for kids to run through, and it's inside. It's the Walter Payton Center. It's a massive space. And I think just walking in strikes you a bit because this is an indoor professional football facility. And they just redid the field. They expanded the field a bit. And it's impressive.
And I think that's one of the perks of being able to go to training camp at the Bears facilities. You get to see it because it's not open to the public usually. So, and you don't have to drive as far. Well, depending on where you live. A lot of Bears fans down in the south suburbs probably miss Bourbonnais because they could just shoot down there and, like Greg Braggs from his Northwest Indiana state.
If you go way back, you could just walk in without having to order like a ticket online.
Yeah. That's still relatively new. I assume that's just to help control the crowds, but
also get information.
Oh yeah.
Emails.
And then sell it to
tickets. Yeah.
Google.
Advertisers. You know how it works.
Oh, yeah.
Before we get to these questions, like, this is the time where you start thinking of the storylines at camp. Like, beyond Fields, what are you watching? Like, what's your list consist of?
Well, first obvious answer for me always, doesn't matter the year, is the line play. Right? We've been watching practices in the spring where they're running around in shorts and they don't have pads on, and every once in a while you're like, oh, Justin definitely got sacked there. I don't know, was Justin sacked there or not? Like, you just can't really tell because what's really happening on the line of scrimmage. And it's for football junkies and really just anybody who loves football. Like, it all starts up front, man. That's where this game starts. And so to watch all these practices where they're not wearing pads, it's hard, and you get annoyed with it sometimes. I'm sure the coaches get really annoyed with it all the time. So the pads go on the first weekend. It takes a few days because they got to build up to it based on the training camp rules set forth by the NFL and the NFLPA. But that's first and foremost. And then specifically, I'll go even specific. I've been hesitant to bring this up because I'm not necessarily worried about it. But some of the times in OTAs where we did see like, oh, that's definitely a sack, it was actually Darnell Wright a couple of times that was getting beat. And again, not worried about it. I don't think it's fair for him. He's not in pads. But it does have me curious, just as much as I was when they drafted him, obviously. When those pads go on, what does he look like? First round pick, number 10 overall. Let's see what this guy can do. And so I'm really excited about that. And then on the opposite side, potentially going up against him, but DeMarcus Walker, this guy, it's like, I don't know, a day goes by where there's not some video on my feed of him training. Like, he's a very interesting player. And it's watching
very like scenic locations.
Yeah. I don't know what. Yeah. What was the one with the drone in, like, I thought they were on the scene of Castaway on some cliff where he's training. Like, that was insane. And I was watching Quarterback on Netflix, and where the Chiefs are going up against the Titans, and Patrick Mahomes is very complimentary of the Titans front. He's like, they got some very underrated players. And to me, DeMarcus Walker was one of those guys.
He was.
So now that he's a Bear, that's one of the guys on the defensive line that I'm really intrigued by to see once the pads go on.
To your point about the quarterback sacks, I felt like Eberflus last year would call them more than Nagy would. You know what I'm saying? Like, Nagy would they wanted to see how things processed past that and if the ball was out or how it got out, where it went. And I get that. There's reasons to do that, right? It's why Mark Trestman didn't want the balls batted down. He wanted to see other things happen down the field, which, well, that didn't pan out. But I felt like Eberflus called sacks more on Fields last year. Am I wrong in thinking that or feeling that?
No, I think you're right. I think there's definitely because to me with net, to me it was almost a detriment. That's a hard thing. I totally get it from the coaching perspective. Like, you don't want to waste reps. You want to see the play continue out, and I remember asking Flus about that last year. I have to go back and find that answer. And because I remember bringing that up to him. But you also want to be true to the play, right? I remember with Nagy, it was almost like too much where it was like not realistic. And then you get in the games and it's like, well, he's getting sacked a lot, maybe you should practice this more.
There's literally defensive players celebrating the backfield. And they're like, the play's going on.
Yeah.
Like, what's happening here? Like, what are we doing? I get
it.
And then there was the whole critique in the past regime, but
yeah, well, then there was that whole thing about how they didn't practice the scramble drill.
It's also true.
Remember that last year with Mooney? He's like, yeah, we didn't really practice this in the past. It's like, oh, that makes a lot of sense then. Okay.
Mine? All right. Well, can I get mine before we get to the questions real quick?
Yeah, I guess you can answer.
I want to see the receivers dominate.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of investment in that position. DJ Moore, Chase Claypool, Darnell Mooney looks big. Like, he looks like he took advantage of his time off. And just to compare how he looked as a rookie to now, I mean, he changed his physique considerably. Tyler Scott, I want to see his speed. I want to see if this receiving core can dominate against that secondary.
And I'm with you on that. And it's kind of put up or shut up time for Chase Claypool, I feel like. And I mean that literally, because The Bears, I'll just give you an example. The Bears just put out in their 1920 football drive series, like a behind the scenes look at the newcomers on the team, the rookies coming in, some of the free agents coming in, but in there was Tyke Tolbert talking about Chase Claypool, and very fairly saying, he came in here midseason last year, perhaps didn't understand everything the way he needed to. It's tough to do that in the middle of the year. Fine. But he also says now he understands it. We expect more production. There's his position coach on record. All of that's completely fair. But now let's see it, right? Like you got to see it. You got to see the results.
Yep.
Produce. The Bears feel the same way. Hey, you want a contract extension? Let's see it.
Yep.
Let's see what these results are. And I think that starts in training camp. It can't be Chase is out for a couple of days. He's got another soft tissue injury. It can't be, now it's been a week. Or, even he's healthy, he's practicing, and we're just not seeing a lot of plays. There's got to be production with Chase Claypool. And I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. I have said multiple times, I don't really like how this whole thing has been trending, but turn it around. Let's go. It's training camp. Let's see it. So that's going to be very interesting to watch as well.
These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. It's super easy to create a free job post on LinkedIn Jobs. You add your job, purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with the right skills and experience. You can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It streamlines the whole process. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. That's faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Adam. That's linkedin.com/Adam to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, we all have busy lives these days, cannot afford to waste a day stuck on the couch because of a few drinks the night before. But that's where ZBiotics comes in. This is the answer you've been looking for. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. ZBiotics produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. It is designed to work like your liver, but in your gut where you need it most. Just remember to drink ZBiotics before drinking alcohol. Drink responsibly, of course, and get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. Give ZBiotics a try for yourself. Go to zbiotics.com/Adam to get 15% off your first order when you use Adam at checkout. ZBiotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money. No questions asked. Remember, head to zbiotics.com/Adam. Use code Adam at checkout for 15% off. Thank you, ZBiotics, for sponsoring this episode.
A little extra money helps everyone live their best lives, and Chime's online checking account is here to help you live yours. With Chime's online checking account, you can enjoy lots of perks like fee-free overdrafts up to $200. You can get paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit too. No more pesky overdraft fees and no impact on your credit score to apply. Plus, you have access to more than 60,000 fee-free ATMs. How about that? Signing up to Chime takes minutes, so join the millions of other Chime members and sign up today. Get started at chime.com/Adams. That's chime.com/Adams. One more time, that's chime.com/Adams. Chime is a financial technology company, not a bank. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank North America or Stride Bank North America. Members FDIC. Eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Access to direct deposits up to 2 days early depends on the timing of the submission of the payment file from the payer. Out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees may apply.
These days, it can be a pain to figure out what to wear. You got work, you want to go out, you got to be at your kid's game, you really just want to be comfortable, right? Most of the time. And that's hard to juggle, but that's where Rhone comes in. Men's closets were due for a radical reinvention, and Rhone stepped up to the challenge. Rhone's commuter collection is the most comfortable, breathable, and flexible set of products known to man. And here's why: because Rhone helps you get ready for any occasion with the commuter collection, offering the world's most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, and polos. You never have to worry about what to wear when you have the Rhone commuter collection. The comfortable 4-way stretch fabric provides breathability and flexibility that leaves you free to enjoy what life throws your way, from your commute to work to even your 18 holes of golf. It's time to feel confident without the hassle with Rhone's wrinkle release technology. Wrinkles disappear as you stretch and wear the products. It's that easy, and it's true. I have a Rhone shirt I love, and if it's wrinkled at all, about 10 minutes later after I put it on, those wrinkles are gone. With Gold Fusion anti-odor technology, you'll be smelling fresh and clean all day long, and on top of that, Rhone is 100% machine washable, so you can ditch the dry cleaner all together. These shirts are comfortable. The pants are comfortable. You can move around in them. You never feel like you're, in a tight position sitting and you got to move your pants around. Everyone can relate to that. None of that with Rhone. The commuter collection can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. Head to rhone.com/Adam. Use promo code Adam. You'll save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to rhone.com/Adam. That's RHONE.com/Adam. Use code Adam. It's time to find your corner office comfort.
Our next partner is pretty cool. I want to tell you about Athletic Greens. If you're looking for a better gut health, more energy, how about a stronger immune system? This is a real easy, natural way. You got to check out Athletic Greens, I'm telling you. I'm sure you all agree that most of us are not huge fans of taking a bunch of pills or vitamins in the morning. Athletic Greens takes care of all that. I'm talking about making room in your cabinet. Athletic Greens is an all-in-one solution that actually tastes good. You really enjoy getting your daily vitamins. It's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free. Plus, the cost is amazing. It costs less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit. So right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into the flu and cold seasons. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. Just one scoop in water. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Adams. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/Adams to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
All right, should we get to our first question, our first voicemail?
Let's do it.
Hey, Hoge Jahns. Michael from Armonk, New York, trying to survive these humid summers without football, only a week away from training camp. Curious what you think the biggest position battles are to look forward to, and what are the surprise moves we may see, especially in the secondary with Kindle Vildor. Thanks, guys. Looking forward to the season. Bye.
Was that a Kindle Vildor question?
It was. I feel like there's this, and I'm not accusing Michael of this. I just have sensed this. Appreciate the question, Michael, and the voicemail. I just get this sense of people are rooting for Kindle Vildor not to be on the team.
I think that might be unfair to him because I feel like he's been more than serviceable for a 5th round pick.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I think, and I've said this a lot this offseason. I think he's a pretty solid rotational backup.
Yeah.
At the corner who can play multiple spots for you. I think the Bears at times, because of the lack of depth at that position, have asked him to do a little bit more than they should for, a 5th round pick who hasn't necessarily, certainly not dominated, but he's been a solid player, and he to me, he's definitely okay as depth. But do I think he's a lock to make the team right now? Not necessarily.
I could tell you one player the Bears are very excited about. The 2nd round pick, Tyreek Stevenson. They think he had an outstanding offseason program. Outstanding. And he showed a few things when he was on the field during OTAs. They're very excited about what they have. Obviously they traded up for him. They like the potential. But then to see that potential already show itself early on in OTAs against veteran players, They're very excited about what he could bring immediately this year.
Yeah, I mean, a couple months ago, I would have answered this question and said, that outside corner spot, but is one of the best position battles. I'm not saying it's locked down, but it doesn't seem like much of a battle anymore already going into training camp. I mean, I would barring injury, I would say it's like 99% going to be Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, and Kyler Gordon as your corners.
Yes, with Gordon is the nickel.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that secondary can be a strength. It's young. There's some inexperience there. There's still growing pains even for the second-year guys. But that entire secondary with Brisker and Jackson in the back end there, it's a lot of talent. A lot of talent.
I would also say this. I am going to be very intrigued on the defensive line to see how quickly specifically Gervon Dexter, maybe Zach Pickens a little bit too, how much Dexter can push for starting reps. Because right now, I think when training camp opens, you're going to see Andrew Billings out there. You're going to see Justin Jones out there. And most likely Zach Pickens and Gervon Dexter with the twos to start. And in some ways, this doesn't completely matter a ton because a good D-line is always going to have a rotation. These guys are going to play regardless. Yeah. But I do think that Dexter showed enough in the spring that they feel pretty good about that pick right now. And they're going to want to use him if he, earns that.
In terms of position battles that Mike was asking about, I'm looking at running back. David Montgomery is gone. Khalil Herbert should be the number one guy, but the Bears don't want a number one guy, obviously. How these carries are split up. Deontay Foreman is on the roster. They drafted Roshan Johnson. Travis Homer was signed. Is Treston Ebner on the bubble? Draft pick from last year. Let's see how the carries are broken up this year.
Well, I think that's one of our questions here, too. So,
man, look at it. I got
that's all right. You didn't know that.
I didn't know the questions.
I'm really curious to hear your guys' view on how this running back room is going to look. With all of the talent that we have back there, is this going to be a huge committee, or are there going to be two guys that stand out and splashes of the others? I appreciate it.
I think it's a great question, and thinking about it that way is probably a good way to think about it. And I just, at some point, you're going to have two guys, and you're probably going to have one that emerges even more than the other. And ideally, you have them with certain strengths. I think some of the excitement about Roshan Johnson was a little overblown, specifically when it comes to the conversation. Can he push for starting running back? I mean, let's slow down a little bit. It wasn't even a starter in college. Okay,
he was
right?
Behind a top 10 pick.
Yes, he's behind Bijan Robinson, but that's why Bijan Robinson is probably starting.
And if you're going to critique overblownness, is that a word?
I like it.
That's the Bears' fault. I mean, these dudes profess their love for this man.
But part of the I hyped him up too, but that was partially because I just think he's a great fit. Special teams, in the locker room, all these other things. But I never once was like he's gonna push for starting reps at the running back position right away. So I'm just saying let's slow it down a little bit there.
Tell that to the Bears, the scout that.
Oh yeah,
he went on to describe him as a potential long-term staple for the organization.
That's right. At the running back position.
Where
Saquon Barkley can't even get paid.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley's on TV right now talking about sitting out.
Yeah, that's a little extreme.
I love the energy that they delivered on him, but yes. But yeah. That's what makes running back intriguing. They obviously have an affinity for this rookie. They signed Deontay Foreman. He's got a good contract. He's not leaving. Khalil Herbert, Matt Eberflus likes him. There's your top three, but you also signed Travis Homer, who's a great third down back. What's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I almost look at it as like two different battles, right? Like I think they're. I can't wait to see. I think especially in the preseason, and you get to those games because it's running back's still hard to judge, even when you're in camp because you're not live, right? Even with pads on. So the games are going to matter here, and who takes advantage of the opportunity? Khalil Herbert or Deontay Foreman? I think that's the battle between those two. And then, but you're still, that's a good 1-2 punch. And then beyond there, I think there's a secondary battle between Roshan Johnson and Travis Homer. And unfortunately, I think Treston Ebner's got an uphill climb here.
Yeah.
To make the team because at most you're keeping 5 backs, and I'm including Kari Blasingame in there. So you can really only keep 4 true running backs. So that's just the situation there. All right, one more question.
Hey Bears fans, B-Man here. Now that we've acquired DJ Moore, how many yards and touchdowns do you think Darnell Mooney will end the season with, as long as he stays healthy? Bear down!
B-Man.
Always good to hear from B-Man.
It's a good question. Like if I had to, like in terms of targets, like I would go DJ Moore 1.
Yeah.
Cole Kmet 2. Darnell Mooney 3. Chase Claypool 4.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I would do the targets.
So,
like, I feel like it's going to be DJ Moore, not open, over the middle, Cole Kmet. That could be Darnell Mooney, because he'll play in the middle, too. He'll play in the slot.
If Mooney's able to play 17 games, I think 70 catches is realistic. And the question, I guess, was specifically more about yards, but I'd like to see 800 yards at least. The question is really just like the share. Like, how much is there going to be to go around? This is a guy that had 61 catches as a rookie, 81 in his second year. And then last year was obviously a tough year with the new offense early on. He got hurt, so he only ended up with 40 catches. But I think splitting what he did in 2020 and 2021 is fair and realistic, even with DJ Moore on the team.
The targets from last season. Number 1, Cole Kmet, 69. Nice. In 17 games. Darnell Mooney, 61 in 12 games. Dante Pettis, 41 in 17. David Montgomery, 40 targets in 16 games. And Equinemius St. Brown, 38 targets in 16 games. If the line is better, you have this DJ Moore effect where there's more first downs gained. You got a number 1 wide receiver. Justin Fields gets better. There'll be more targets. There'll be more yards, more touchdowns. But yes, in terms of like if this is like a fantasy football question, right? He's like a wide receiver 3 now, right? Is that okay? Like I feel like Cole Kmet's going to take touchdowns away from him too. Robert Tonyan's going to take touchdowns away from Cole Kmet. That ball's going to be spread around.
Yeah. There's a lot of intriguing things here that like just weren't there a year ago, quite frankly. So it's part of the excitement. It's gonna. I think regardless of the win-loss record at the end of the day, this is gonna be an entertaining team to follow, to watch this year. They were entertaining last year, despite only winning 3 games.
Justin Fields doing things at the quarterback position we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Is the over/under still 6.5 for wins?
I think it's 7.5 now.
7.5 now?
Yeah.
Because I like that 7 or 8 win mark for the Bears. I think it's going to be a competitive division. Competitive, we'll define that later, but the division's up for grabs, and I think you're going to have a few teams that are hovering around 500 fighting for it.
Well, I've already talked to some Packer fans who are talking themselves into a division title. Good for them. The only scenario in which I see that happening is if behind the scenes, the Aaron Rodgers stuff was bringing them down more. then he was elevating them late in the season. Like, I feel like people forget the Packers were like dead in the water last year until they went on that little run at the end of the season. Which, would they have gone on that run with Jordan Love?
They didn't make the playoffs last year, everybody.
I know. Like, they were
Everybody
done.
up north.
And they didn't really add anyone in the offseason. So, but if Aaron Rodgers was that big of like a cancer in the locker room by the end, which I don't know that he is, it seems like his teammates still liked him. Well, he's polarized.
Talking about overblownness.
Yeah. Well, wait, what are you saying overblown on that one?
Well, him being a team cancer.
Oh,
I think it was more polarizing for everyone outside their building than inside. Except, maybe
the front office.
Front office had no patience for him. But
yeah, they were done with him. I'm just not.
Room.
I don't know that he was tearing them apart on the inside. I think he was still doing more good than bad on the football field to help them win games.
Correct.
So the idea that it's addition by subtraction with, Aaron freaking Rodgers, a Hall of Fame quarterback, I'm okay. Show it to me, but I'm struggling to jump on that train.
Yeah.
The Vikings are definitely set for regression, I feel like, but I also don't think they're going to be a pushover by any means. They're going to be a tough team. I just think that they're going to be like the definition of mediocrity in the middle. What you think about your guy, Kirk Cousins, and quarterback?
My guy was the star. Like, everybody likes my guy now.
I don't know about that, but this has been a running bit. For the record, I've always respected Kirk Cousins as a guy that's definitely overplayed his talent. Because then you saw it in the show. He works his ass off. He's clearly obsessed with football. Just so Mahomes obsessed. Kirk Cousins obsessed. Marcus Mariota, he's kind of along for the ride, it feels like, watching that show. But okay, Kirk. I like that. I like this. I
like that.
I found his story to be the most interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't change my opinion on him as a quarterback at all, but
Yeah, he's top 12.
He's fine. They're never going to win a Super Bowl with him. No chance.
Better than Jay Cutler?
Kirk Cousins? Well, probably.
Yeah, I would
results
say the stats
wise.
bear that out.
Yeah. I give him that for sure. Yeah. And also, I think that show does a good job of showing that the whole he can't win in primetime thing is a little overblown. I mean, there's still some truth, but I think it's more a product of you're playing better teams. And a lot of those times, he's not the best quarterback on the field. So there's like with anything with Kirk Cousins, there's a limit there. But all right, we got to get out of here. Back Monday. Excited. Can't wait to see everybody
hang out.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. 6:00, Obvious Shirts. Come get some merch. Come hang out with us. First live show in over 3 years. We're excited about it, and I hope to get a few more on the books this season, so we'll see. But no guarantees there. So we hope to see you Monday night. We're really excited about it. Any questions, shoot us a note on Twitter. And it's our last weekend of freedom, Johns. So go sneak some more baseball in or whatever you do every night.
We play baseball games and we drink beers afterwards.
Oh, it sounds like pretty good. Okay.
It's good summer.
Well, enjoy that for one more weekend.
I'll do my best.
We're out of here. We'll see everyone hopefully in person Monday night.
See ya.